come on. You set the date and you set her into your club before you confirmed it with me, so you got nothing to say about this.
There.
Freight train's the finale, a big finish.
Hey, man, she wanted to do it. Now, you talk to her, Neil.
And it still is news. Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Crust of bread and salt. You can help yourself, but don't you ever drink too much. No, Mama may have, and your Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own.
How many times I gotta tell you, you don't finish the act with a downer, period.
I wanted to sing it. I don't care if you didn't like it, they did.
Go take a bow.
I'm not, I'm leaving.
I said go take a bow.
You take the bows, Neil. You've taken everything else.
Terrific, Becky, terrific. They loved you.
Did they just? Sometimes I wonder. I just really wanted to touch them tonight. I wanted to reach out and touch them, and there was this wall, this something.
Hey, this tour will be good for you. Maybe like it used to be.
I told Neil, no tour for a while, no nothing for a while.
But the song, the one I wrote for you, you were going to use it in Dallas Saturday.
Is that all you ever think of, Jess? You, your song?
Hey, that's a good song, Becky.
It was better the first time you wrote it 4 years ago. I'm sorry, Jess. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. You know I didn't. It's just everything I've been going through.
Sure, it's okay. It's all right, baby. Here. Jesse's got everything laid out for you. Your pills, vitamins, the whole works.
Thanks, Jess.
See you later, baby.
Feeling better?
He made it easy for me.
Well, everything went smoothly. No complications. If you're feeling up to it, you can go home.
Oh, I'm all right.
Sure.
Dr. Reed, I don't know how to thank you. When I first came to you 3 weeks ago, I was so frightened. I was ready to...
It's all right, Rebecca. You go home now. Stay off your feet. And if you need me, I'm available 24 hours. Come on, smile. I'll see you in a couple of days. Rebecca, what's the matter? Did you take anything? Look, don't move around. I'll be right over. This is Dr. Martha Reed. I have an emergency. Send an ambulance to the Bayside Motel in Malibu. Right. You don't have to tell me what the autopsy report says, Griff. A massive hemorrhage. But I gave her a complete examination. There were no complications. I just don't understand. Look, why am I being held?
You performed an operation. The patient died.
A legal operation?
Well, they can't find the surgical consent.
Well, she signed one.
Martha, you were never one for paperwork, you know.
Not this time, Griff. I'm a good doctor.
Of course you are.
She came to me for help. A massive psychosis, pregnant, terrified of bearing a child, almost suicidal.
Sit down, please.
Did you see the looks on the faces of those policemen out there? Abortionist, backroom mechanic, fast buck doctor. And that manager, Davis, he's holding a press conference right outside the door. I can imagine what he's saying.
Will you please sit down and stop worrying about what they're saying, what they are thinking? I need your help. The sooner we find out exactly what happened to Rebecca Wild, the sooner you're out of here.
All right. I'm sorry, Griff.
What medication did you give her?
Nothing. She might have been taking tranquilizers. I can't be sure about that.
Did anyone come with her to your office?
No. She came alone.
Did she drive herself?
No, it was a company limousine, I think. She sent it away. When she left, she took a cab.
Oh. And she went straight to the motel?
I assume. That's where I told her to go.
What time is this?
About 10:30, I think.
Good. We'll look after you, don't worry. You called your lawyer?
No. I thought if you were on the case,
Martha, there are three possibilities here. It was an act of God, or something happened to you in the operation. Not that anything did. Or someone wanted that poor girl dead. Call your lawyer.
All right.
And don't fret. You're all right.
Thank you, Griff.
Now, please. Thank you, George.
That's the name she used. It's all the same to me. Half the people that come in here don't know who they are.
Any visitors?
Well, she could have. I don't know.
You don't know very much, do you?
I got 25 units to worry about.
Right. Any phone calls?
She made 3. That I know because they all go through the switchboard.
It's an unlisted number, Barney. Can you put a name and address to it? Good. Thank you, my friend. I'll call you back. What did you find out about the phone call that Rebecca made to a Karen Lacey?
Nothing as yet, but I'll keep trying.
Comfortable?
Griff, look, I know Martha Reed's a friend of yours, but have you ever considered that maybe she could have loused up?
No.
Well, maybe she's not the same doctor she used to be.
Martha Reed saved my daughter-in-law's life, saved my grandchild's life when everybody else had just about given them both up.
Fine, but that was 9 years ago, Griff.
I owe that woman. You know what happened in the hospital 9 years ago? My son Jerry was caught in traffic. There was no one to sign the surgical consent. You know, a lot of doctors would have played it safe. Martha Reed went in there and she operated without a consent. She risked her whole professional career, but she saved 2 lives. Now, Martha Reed doesn't make mistakes, and she didn't louse up with Rebecca Wild.
I only asked.
And I just answered.
Where you going?
Going to visit the bereaved manager.
Neil Davis?
Yeah. I want to find out just how bereaved he really is.
Oh, yeah, buddy, I know. The word is tragic. I love that little girl like a sister, you dig? Oh, you better believe it. Really bad news. Hey, listen, I got somebody here right now. Can you call me this afternoon with the bottom line on the memorial concert deal? Hey, listen, man, I can guarantee the name artist to perform, but you gotta guarantee me a house. And no out clauses from you this time, you dig? Okay, later. Ciao. They're bloodsuckers. You see how they run? They smell the bread and they want to cash in on Rebecca's death. I gotta do this in good taste so her death doesn't become a circus, Mr. Griffin.
Mr. Davis, we were talking about the baby.
Yeah.
It was going to be your child.
Why, sure. I've never tried to cover up my relationship with Rebecca.
Did Miss Wild tell you she was going to have an abortion?
No. As a matter of fact, we were looking forward very much to having that baby. We were both very much in love, Mr. Griffin.
Why do you think she had the abortion?
I don't know. Some spur-of-the-moment decision. That doctor botched it up. Believe me, if I'd known about the operation, I would have stopped it cold. Look at the publicity I could have gotten out of that kid.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Oh, listen. You sure have a lot of corporations.
That's the way the business operates, Mr. Griffin. And it was as much for Rebecca's protection as mine.
Yeah, sure it was.
Yeah.
Sure it was. Thank you.
Okay.
Haven't we met sometime before today?
Yeah, man, I'm Jesse Cable. You played backup guitar for Becky.
Yeah, that was your song, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of them.
Could have sworn that I'd seen you before. Maybe on an album cover.
Hey, Jesse.
Why are you putting up the ivy?
Rats. And we want to get them out of here.
Well, getting the ivy out, get rid of the rats?
That and a little poison.
Mr. Griffin, forget something?
No, didn't forget a thing.
I don't like it, Neil. I don't like the idea of him poking his nose around here. Suppose he finds out.
He won't find out anything.
Suppose he does. Suppose he gets to Woods.
Jesse, you just keep your mouth shut tight. I'll take care of Mr. Griffin, and I'll take care of Mr. Woods. And if I get put in a squeeze, I know I can depend on you to get me out. I don't keep you around here just because you play good guitar, you know.
Now, your backcourt game is great. But when you get up to the net, I don't know.
Hey, look, Griff, if I had a net game, I'd be playing tennis for a living.
Oh, you do have a net game. You just don't get up to the net fast enough, that's all. Good morning, Gracie.
Hi.
What are you doing out here?
Gracie, would you forget the keys again?
It's him.
It's whom?
He's in your office.
Who's in my office?
Leo Pendleton.
Who's Leo Pendleton?
The Leo Pendleton.
Oh, that Leo Pendleton.
Oh, come on. Didn't you hear the news on the radio this morning?
We've been playing tennis, I'm sorry.
Well, he's been here since 9 o'clock. And I don't know who's more scared, him or me. Here,
You're out on bail now.
Yes. Just a couple of hours ago. Chuck Collins, my attorney, arranged for it. And he also strongly recommended that I come to see you, Mr. Griffin. He would have brought me himself, but he had a case in court this morning.
Well, Chuck's opinion of me may be a little bit exaggerated if this newspaper account is accurate.
It says here that your fingerprints were found all over the knife. Is that true?
Yes, but I didn't kill her.
Mr. Pendleton, a few minutes ago you said you didn't remember killing her. There's a big difference.
But I couldn't have. I had absolutely no reason.
Were you in love with her?
I hardly knew her.
All right, now. Exactly what do you remember about last night?
You know, I always wanted to see one of those movies, but I was always afraid to without going with someone.
Well, after the first few minutes, they really become quite a bore.
Ah, but the first few minutes.
Now, I'm sorry I let you talk us into going. I wouldn't want to be accused of corrupting your morals.
Leo, I had a wonderful time. And I can't think of anyone I'd rather have corrupt my morals than you.
I really have to be going.
Not Lucy again. That's why you have a housekeeper. Besides, all 7-year-olds should be fast asleep by now. She'll never know.
Well, it's not just Lucy. I have an early morning flight to Washington. Pentagon stuff, and I should study my presentation.
Well, you can brush up on the plane.
Karen, you can't brush up on $100 million worth of top-secret proposals.
Well, something else, is there? Is it me?
Of course not. It's just that... Well, we've only known each other a couple of weeks.
Leo, when I went to Matchmate, they promised me more than a bunch of casual dates. I've had those. I signed up because I had hopes of something better. I thought you did too.
I signed up because I can't afford the luxury of a social life. Between my company and my daughter, I just don't have time for the normal dating rituals.
Then stay with me tonight, Russ. I'll make the martinis and you put on some music, okay?
Is that all right?
Mm-hmm. It's fine. Russ.
It's very good.
I want to get into something more comfortable. I'll be out in a minute.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it.
All I do know is that I did not kill her. I need you to prove my innocence. Mr. Griffin, you have to understand that I've spent most of my adult life building up my company. I've made a great deal of money, and possibly because of that, I've never been an overly social person. My workload is enormous, and my little girl deserves the rest of my time.
Is that why you went to this computer dating service?
Matchmate.
Yeah, yes, Matchmate.
After my wife died, I didn't date for years. But lately, as my daughter's been growing up, I'm realizing how desperately she needs a mother. I was hoping that match made might lead me to something permanent.
Well, it led you to something all right, right into a murder.
I fail to see how that follows. What does this dating service have to do with Karen's death?
Well, what Mike means is that obviously somebody killed Karen Lacey. If not you, then someone with a very strong motive. Perhaps a rejected lover. By the way, did Karen ever speak of a Rebecca Wilde?
I really don't know that much about her past. All I do know is that I did not kill her. Mr. Griffin, my little girl is 7 years old. She doesn't know anything about this yet. So far, my housekeeper has managed to keep her away from the newspapers and the television. But sooner or later, she's going to hear it from someone. I'm all she has. Something like this could shatter her. I need you to prove my innocence.
Well, we're tied up at the present investigating the death of the concert singer, Rebecca Wilde. But we'll try and take care of you two. Could there possibly be a connection between Rebecca's death and Karen's murder?
Yes?
Miss Marlowe, Mr. Griffin to see you.
Oh, yes. Ask him to come in.
Mr. Griffin, I'm Marietta Marlowe.
Miss Marlowe, thank you so much for seeing me on such short notice.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
Would you like some coffee?
Yes, that would be very nice.
Black?
Please.
I don't have to tell you, this dreadful business with Karen and Leo Pendleton has depressed me terribly. I want to help in any way I can.
That's very nice of you. Oh, no, I'll come straight to the point, Miss Marlowe. I need a list of the names of any other men who've been in contact with Miss Lacey.
Oh, dear. After just saying I want to help you in any way I can, I find myself in the embarrassing position of having to refuse.
Why's that?
Well, we're a very exclusive service, Mr. Griffin. And our position is rather delicate. Our clients expect anonymity.
Miss Marlowe, my client is in very serious trouble. And you've no idea how helpful you could be if you'd give me the list of those names.
I'm sorry. Really, I am. But I have a moral obligation to protect my clients. You see, the forms they fill out contain some very personal information.
I'm not looking for case histories, just names.
I don't want to be difficult. I've cooperated fully with the police. Now, if they choose to give you the names you want, I certainly can't object.
Well, I think I've got... Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's all right, George. Come in. This is George Bates, our computer programmer. This is Mr. Griffin.
How are you?
He's a private investigator.
Oh. Well, is there a problem of some kind?
He was asking about Karen Lacey.
Yeah, that was tragic.
Did you know Miss Lacey?
No, I never met her, or Pendleton either, for that matter. But I don't know, somehow when you process their forms through a computer, you get a feeling about people.
You just asked if there was some sort of problem. Why do you think I'm here?
Oh, I just thought...
Oh, I think what George means, Mr. Griffin, is that occasionally we find that a client has been less than honest with us.
Oh, when he says that he's not married when he really is.
G-I-G-O.
G-I-G-O.
Oh, that's computer parlance. Garbage in, garbage out. You see, we can only program the information they give us. Now, if that information is inaccurate, why...
Don't you check the applications?
Well...
We live in a changing world, Mr. Griffin. The old values seem to be fading away. I leave the puritanical morality to the clergy. Any other position would be far too time-consuming.
Was Rebecca Wilde also a client of yours?
No.
Well, thank you, Miss Marlowe. Thank you for the coffee.
It's been a pleasure.
Goodbye.
Mr. Bates.
Yeah, she went out a lot. Karen Lacey was a good-looking broad. What'd you expect?
What about some of the guys?
You mean Pendleton?
No, before Pendleton. Anybody in particular you remember?
Guys, that's all. They came and went.
Hey, you ever spend the night?
What do you want? A scorecard?
Why'd you keep one?
Can't tell the players without.
No, what I'm looking for is somebody that saw a lot of her in the last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, there was this black limo.
I don't suppose you happen to remember the plate number.
Don't have to. We keep a record for security. But I couldn't show it to you. It's confidential. People around here, they remember things like that. Around Christmas time.
Merry Christmas.
Hi, sir. Can I help you? Sir?
Oh, yeah, hi. How are you?
Oh, just dandy. I know, you're thinking of a vacation trip, right?
Mountains.
Foreign or domestic?
Whatever.
Well, I have a variety of tours.
Actually, what I need is a little information first.
Well, that's what we're here for.
I'm checking on Karen Lacey.
Are you police?
No.
You with that other guy?
What other guy?
That guy that gave me this.
Oh, man. He really did a number on you, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he should have. He was 8 feet tall.
8 feet.
Listen, honey, what is it you want?
Well, I'm checking up on the guys that knew Karen.
Well, then, he's your man. The big guy. He came in here about 2 days ago asking about Karen. It was her day off, and he wanted her home address. Well, naturally, I didn't give it to him, but that's when he, So, what could I do?
Do you have a name, this big guy?
Well, not that he told me. But you find that guy, and I bet you find the guy that killed Karen.
Did you tell this to the police?
Well, yes. They took my complaint, but I don't think they'll do anything about it. I mean, as far as they're concerned, they already have their man.
Oh, you don't think Pendleton killed her? Huh?
Well, I suppose it's possible. But I don't know, he was such a nice guy. You know, good-looking, polite. He really didn't strike me as Karen's type. But then you never know about those things, do you?
No, you never do you?
Did you know Rebecca Wild?
No, but Karen did say they were friends from back east. Used to work together in Baltimore, or so Karen said.
Well, thanks a lot. I really appreciate your help. Tell you what, maybe you can arrange a little trip for me sometime.
To the mountains.
Wherever.
Uh-huh.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, sir.
What were you doing snooping around in Karen's apartment?
Hey, look, I don't want any trouble.
And that travel agency, I was following you.
Yeah, I had noticed.
You tell me what happened to Karen, or I'm going to tear you apart.
Hey, look, really, I think you're... No. Hey, look.
Well, I didn't realize Karen Lacey was married.
Neither did she. She ran out on me a couple of years ago.
Oh. Well, Mr. Lacey...
And it's not Mr. It's Sergeant. U.S. Army. I'm stationed at Fort Meade.
That's near Baltimore.
Yeah. That's where I met her. 3 years ago. She was working as a waitress at one of those joints on Baltimore Street.
Oh, yes. On Baltimore Street.
Look, I know what you're thinking, but Karen, she was different. That's why I married her. I thought I was keeping her happy. One day she was gone, just gone, that's all.
How did you find her?
A buddy, he was on furlough here. He saw her in that travel agency. He called me long distance. I got the next plane out. That was Tuesday.
Tuesday. That was the day before your wife was killed.
Look, I had nothing to do with that.
Sergeant, you were in that travel agency. You forced that Miss Cheswick to tell you where your wife was living. You were waiting for her. And when she came in that night with Leo Pendleton...
You're a liar!
You saw your wife with another man.
No, she gave all that up.
She gave up all what?
You gotta understand. Down deep, she was good. Sure, maybe she was screwed up inside sometimes. But she was my wife, and I loved her.
Where were you Wednesday night?
I hit a few bars.
Where?
They all look alike. Are you calling the police?
Part of the job, Sergeant.
Fresh out of our new computer, so I can't guarantee the accuracy. Joseph Benson, alias Joe Thompson, except now he calls himself Jesse Cable. 1964 assault with a deadly weapon, 1965 armed robbery.
Rebecca Wiles, guitar player.
Now on the other report.
The one on Karen Lacey?
I'll have it for you tomorrow morning.
Were you able to check out that unlisted number I gave you?
Griff, you're something else.
Why? What?
How long am I gonna have to wait?
All right, wait for what?
Till I become a partner. All I do is do your legwork.
Oh, really? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Doesn't show down here.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. I lost 3 pounds.
I told you it didn't show.
Yeah. Here it is. Christopher Wood, Marbury Park, lives in a lakefront cabin.
Christopher Wood?
Yeah, I understand he's some kind of writer.
Yeah, with 2 Pulitzer Prizes, I'd say he's some kind of writer. Well, thank you, Barney.
Lousy screenplay to anyone, and I'll slap you with a lawsuit that'll break in half.
Don't get tough with me, Davis.
Listen, Woods, I'm warning you.
And you know something? I don't care about your lawsuit, but when you call my screenplay lousy, those are fighting words.
Don't get smart with me, Pally. Just don't forget what I told you.
Porter in Chicago on Thursday?
No.
There's that hospital charity thing on Sunday. I think you should go.
Okay, but only if they have booze. No more of this coffee and crumpet stuff.
I'll check it out.
Mr. Woods, excuse me.
Yes?
I may have a couple of moments of your time.
Wade Griffin, private detective. That'll be all, Evelyn.
Yes, sir.
Oh, one of the fringe benefits of the business I'm in. Particularly if you're a dirty old man like I am. Well, Mr. Griffin, what is it that you private detect?
I'm not getting too far with that opening today. Excuse me. My name is Mike Murdoch. I'm looking for Mr. Griffin.
Oh, I believe he's out back with Mr. Woods.
Thank you. What's your name?
Miss Gray.
Miss? That's a funny first name. Mine used to be Mr., but I changed it to Mike. Oh.
Evelyn.
Evelyn. Thank you, Evelyn. See you later.
Yes, Becky called me from the motel that night. To confirm a luncheon date, actually. You see, I was writing a screenplay for her. Her first flick. Mine, too. But then I suppose even giants must fall.
You know, I couldn't help overhear Mr. Davis. He didn't sound too pleased with what you did.
No, I shouldn't think he would be. The man was stealing her blind. And the screenplay shows that, every rotten deal. Naturally, he was a little upset.
Yeah. So it was biographical.
Oh, of course. I think, Becky might have made a really fine actress. Of course, I don't suppose we'll ever know now, will we?
I gather you were interested in her.
Interested? Mr. Griffin, for a private detective, you are singularly unworldly. No, I was in love with the girl. I suppose that's not particularly newsworthy in my case, is it?
Well, I did see your name in the columns rather frequently.
But this was different somehow. We were going to be married. Live in Geneva. I have a place there. It's even paid for. I guess it was a pretty tough decision for her. She was very worried about Davis. You know something? I didn't even know she was pregnant.
Well, I just assumed.
I'm not even sure it's my kid, Griffin, but I just assumed you kept that to yourself. You see, she was under Davis's thumb. And I'm sure she felt that she had to make a clean break from him. I dare say the abortion was the final step.
Yes, if it was his child. Well, did Rebecca ever mention a Karen Lacey?
No, Becky never spoke of a Karen Lacey. Is she someone important?
Not in the way you mean important. Do you think the screenplay will be produced now that Miss Wilde is...
Rebecca Wilde, Jane Smith, Betty Smith. There's a new one at every bus stop.
Bye, Mr. Woods.
I finished the last 10 pages. In the desk, middle drawer.
Okay.
I'd appreciate it if you'd get to them this afternoon.
All right. All right, I'll look at them. You know, Evelyn, you're really a great kid. I mean that. A great kid. I don't know what I'd do without you.
Thank you, Christopher. It's very kind of you to say that.
Griff? Griff?
Well, one more thing, Barney. Did they find any tranquilizers in that motel room? No? Oh. Well, I'll check back with you about that later. All right, thank you. Rebecca was taking something, but they don't know what.
Griff, I'm not getting anywhere. I don't understand it. I've been checking up on Davis's company. When I find one corporation, it leads to 3 others, and they're all owned by the same holding company.
Now, take it easy. You know what it adds up to, Griff? Neil Davis had her all tied up. No, Woods had it pegged right, man. He was robbing her blind.
Oh, but legally, Mike, legally, Davis is a very shrewd operator.
Yeah, but who says legally? Maybe he made a mistake. Maybe that's why Davis is so uptight about this screenplay. Hey, you know what I could do? I could talk to Evelyn.
Evelyn?
Well, she's not much to look at.
I'll bet.
But if the expense account could stand dinner for 2?
Yeah, that's a good idea, Mike. Good idea. Take it to Farino's.
Well, actually, Griff, I've already made reservations at the Belterre.
Oh, the Belterre. You have time for someone who's not a patient?
Oh, Griff, you're just what the doctor ordered. No joke intended.
Said she, making the joke. For you.
Oh, how lovely.
Listen, I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
No. My mind's a blank. Can't seem to focus on anything.
We should let me do the worrying while you tend the patients.
What patients?
Well, I've got some good news for you. They found the surgical consent. So there are no criminal charges. Once you get past the medical hearing...
Oh, Griff, don't you see? It isn't just the medical hearing. Even if the board finds me innocent, you know what the papers will say. Whitewash. Cover up.
No.
Doctors sticking together, protecting their own.
No, it's not going to be...
Do you know what they call me?
What?
Butcher. No, I see them in the morning. On the streets, staring, whispers. People trying to get a good look at the woman who killed Rebecca Wilde.
Now, sit down. You're not as tough as I thought you were. I need to ask you some questions. Here now, listen. Did Rebecca Wilde tell you who the father of the child was?
No. No, I just assumed it was her manager. That Davis man. The papers all said that...
I'm not interested in knowing what the papers said. What about friends? Did she ever mention a Karen Lacey?
Nothing. She never volunteered, and I never asked. Guess I should have been a better detective. It's important.
Might be.
This is very extravagant.
A beautiful setting for a lovely lady.
Oh, don't you think that's a little much, Mike? See, I don't picture you here at all. You're much more the takeout chicken type.
Guilty. But I've been saving up.
I'm flattered. Now, why don't we get to the point?
I beg your pardon?
Why you asked me out? What do you want to know?
Oh, you really,
I won't be offended.
Well, I was curious about Woods' screenplay and what he had to say about Neil Davis. I mean, I know he's a crook, you know he's a crook, but legally, is he a crook? How can you be so sure about that? I mean, Woods is not a lawyer.
Mike, I hold a master's degree in economics, and I'm a very good researcher. And when I tell you that Neil Davis is a criminal, you can count on it. It's a big part of the story. You know, poor little girl becomes hit singer and is financially raped by an unscrupulous manager. Believe me, Christopher wouldn't have written it if it weren't true.
Oh, Christopher.
It's not like that. Anyway, not anymore. Business and pleasure never mix. He likes people to think we're still mutually attracted to one another. Actually, his career means more to him than anything else.
Was it Rebecca that changed your relationship?
It wasn't Rebecca. We were back on a business basis before she ever met him.
And Woods being in love with Rebecca didn't bother you, huh?
Certainly not.
Like that, huh?
Like that. Now, have we covered the point of this little meeting?
Well, we've covered the business, but definitely not the point.
Oh.
Hey, the place is empty. Where'd everybody disappear to?
Where'd they disappear to?
Yeah.
They're out working. What do you think this is, a country club?
Oh, not with a menu like that. Don't you ever eat anything except pastrami on rye?
I happen to like pastrami on rye.
Well, other things to eat?
Yeah, I believe that. Suppose you want a cup of coffee with that?
No, I don't think so. A little more mustard next time, maybe.
I don't remember that. You know, I can't afford lobster thermidor every day. Even if I had the time, which I don't.
Barney, I love the way you're mellowing into this job. Did you ever know Rebecca Wilde's manager, Davis, was embezzling her funds?
What's that got to do with her death?
I'm not sure yet, but it's the first motive I found.
You forgetting Rebecca died from an abortion?
Not according to my books.
Okay, I won't argue with you at this point. I have that other report for you. Karen Lacey, known to Baltimore authorities as a B-girl. Worked the gin joints downtown. 10 arrests for soliciting dating back to 1966. Married Sergeant Joe Lacey 3 years ago. Left the area 2 years ago. Present whereabouts unknown.
You still holding Sergeant Lacey?
No. A couple of MPs picked him up about an hour ago.
Poor guy. Barney, what do you know about Matchmate?
The dating service?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've been in business about 2 years. The woman who owns it used to be a fashion model, strictly first-class connections. Why? Why do you ask?
Well, I was trying to figure out, since when does a A woman like Karen Lacey need a computer dating service to help her meet a man.
All right, well, I'll tell you since when. Since she came from back east, hiding out from her husband. Look, Griff, she signs up, she meets a few guys. If they're interested, she hits them up for a few bucks. Next thing you know, she's using the dating service to build up a regular clientele.
No, I can't buy that.
Why? Why not?
Can't buy it.
All right. Take Pendleton. Now, he's a pretty straight guy. Big, important job, but a little naive when it comes to the women. All of a sudden, she demands a fee. And this doesn't work too well with his ego. So he goes crazy, grabs a knife.
Boy, come on now. What are you doing? Are you practicing to write articles for psychology magazines?
Griff, they found him with the body. Her blood was all over him. His prints were on the knife. Now, what else do you want? An eyewitness?
No, but I would like a list of the men she'd been dating.
We checked them already.
For alibis. I got something else in mind.
All right, I'll give you a list. Here. But Griff, something right here tells me that Pendleton is my man.
Now, the way you eat, I'd need something a little more reliable.
When you're through stuffing yourself, you might see if Baltimore has anything on Rebecca Wild.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To a productive luncheon, Mr. Griffin. I find you a difficult man to understand.
Why?
Well, I'm sure you don't approve of me.
Oh.
And yet here we are, sharing an intimate lunch. If I wasn't so sure your interest in me was professional, I'd be very flattered.
Whose profession, Miss Marlowe? Yours or mine? You used to be a fashion model.
That's right.
How'd you get to be with this matchmate? How did that come about?
I was doing some contract work for a fashion magazine, and George Bates was running the computer for their subscription sales. I don't know whose idea it was at the time, but it seemed like a logical combination of talents. I had the so-called glamour and...
Still do.
Oh, thank you. And he had the technical skill.
I don't want to sound like a moralist, but do you ever have any second thoughts about the propriety of what you're doing?
Well, I grant you it's a shame some people don't have the time or the emotional security to develop their own private lives. But a need for our service does exist.
Try telling that to Leo Pendleton.
Bad apples like Leo Pendleton are the exception, not the rule.
Bad apple exception? What makes you say that Leo is the problem?
But look at that man. Approaching 40, almost monastic since his wife's death. Why, there are thousands of Leos running around loose, and a percentage of them are potential sex criminals.
There are thousands of Karen Lacey's running around, too. Except that on the police blotter in Baltimore, they've added one word after her name. Prostitute.
Oh, that's absurd.
Check it out with Captain Marcus.
Mr. Griffin, you must believe me. I had no idea. I mean, there's never been anything to indicate. I just don't know what to tell you.
Why don't you start out by telling me a little more about Matchmate?
You look gorgeous, but I still like you better in jeans.
Welcome to the club.
Well, what do you think?
Oh, they'll jump at him.
Very fun. I don't need a computer to get dates.
You better get more than just a date.
Did you get that list of names that Karen Lacey dated?
Yeah. 12 names. We're going to have to check them out to see which one she actually went out with.
Oh, well, here's one you can verify right now. The limousine license number that Mike got from the garage attendant at Karen Lacey's apartment belongs to a Gerald Llewellyn, Oakcrest Drive, Encino.
Let me see that. Did you double-check this? Is it accurate?
Well, motor vehicles hasn't crossed me up yet.
His name isn't on this list.
Why, who is he, Griff?
President of a Beverly Hills bank.
Big political man of the state. I've known Paula and Jerry Llewellyn for years.
Wade Griffin Investigations. Oh, yes, Miss Marlowe, he's right here.
Yes, Miss Marlowe.
Oh, Mr. Griffin, I'm so glad I caught you. I wanted to dig a little deeper, so I asked George to pull the names of the girls we supplied to Leo Pendleton. I managed to reach one of them by phone, a lovely young girl named Penny Coyle. I think before you get any more involved, you might have a talk with her. It seems your friend Leo Pendleton isn't quite the innocent victim he claims to be.
Miss Coyle, you did go out with him, didn't you?
Yes, sir, I did. One time.
But would you please tell me why you feel this way about him?
Mr. Griffin, the man terrified me. The things that he said to me. He is one sick man. Now that freak ought to be put away where he can't hurt anybody ever again. Now please excuse me.
I talked to Penny Coyle, Mr. Pendleton. She told me all about the date you had with her.
What are you talking about? I already told you, I don't even know Penny Coyle.
You got her name from Matchmate. You went out with her last month.
Her name may have been on my list, but I never went out with anyone but Karen Lacey. Mr. Griffin, what exactly did she tell you?
Well, she told me some rather interesting things, Mr. Pendleton. That you had made some lewd and indecent proposals to her. She referred to you as a sickie, a freak.
That's crazy. I don't even know the woman. You've got to believe me. She's lying. But why?
Yes, why?
Wilson. Alan Wilson. And how did you learn about Matchmate, Mr. Wilson?
Well, I heard it being discussed in the executive cafeteria. I really don't remember who it was now. Does that matter?
Oh, no, I suppose not. I see here that you're a design consultant?
Yes, we do quite a bit of government work. Space program, aircraft development, things like that.
Oh, I'm impressed. Judging from your salary figure, you must be a very successful young man.
Well, thank you very much. I try hard.
Unfortunately, though, at the expense of your social life, right?
Exactly. How did you know that?
It's my business to know that, Mr. Wilson.
Well, that's why I'm here.
Well, we have a special executive program for gentlemen such as yourself. I think you'll be quite pleased with the results.
You know, I don't want to sound crude, but how much is this going to cost?
Cost? Oh, well, cost is a relative term, Mr. Wilson. We do charge quite a bit, but then that's for your protection as well as our girls. That assures us of a clientele that is, shall we say, above reproach.
You know, a man in my position does have to be very selective.
Right. The girls who participate in our executive program will meet your requirements, I'm sure. These are girls who are looking for not merely companionship, but personal relationships as well.
Hey, Griff. It's been months. Where were you last week? I could have used you for the tennis tournament. They teamed me up with old Duffy.
Oh, yes, I heard. I've been awfully busy.
How about joining us? We're only a threesome. We're going off in a couple of minutes.
Jerry, we have to have a little talk.
Ooh, sounds ominous.
About Karen Lacey.
What are you talking about, Griff?
Now, Jerry, don't try to con me. I know all about it. I'm sorry.
I'm doing the first tee.
You just don't walk away from something like this, Jerry. Someone killed that girl, someone with a motive. Now, you talk to me, or you talk to the police.
All right. I was seeing her. I was a bad boy, but I'm not involved.
You're involved. A girl has been killed, and you're involved, Jerry, whether you like it or not. You're a very prominent man in this community. You're a banker, a political fundraiser. You're being touted as a candidate for statewide office. Did she threaten to go to the newspapers? don't need a road map. I can tell by your face what's been going on.
Then you should understand why I can't cooperate.
No, I don't understand that at all. Karen Lacey was murdered. An innocent man may go to jail. All because you knuckled under to some kind of extortion. Now, if you'd come to me, if you'd gone to the police, that girl might still be alive.
But my career would have gone down the drain.
Well, if you put your career ahead of a girl's life, even a girl like Karen Lacey, I guess you're not even half the man I thought you were.
Griff, don't do this to me.
I'm not trying to hurt you, Jerry. I'll help you, if I can. But you gotta level with me. What was it? Tapes? Letters? Pictures? What?
All right, Griff. Come on back to the office with me.
Well, I can see why your friend Llewellyn kept these locked up in his safe.
Jerry told me that she drugged him just as she drugged Leo Pendleton.
Yeah. While he was out of it, somebody took these pictures, huh?
Yeah. Unfortunately, they're just the prints.
Which means whoever had the negatives has been putting a squeeze on, huh?
Yep, $3,000 a month.
Whew, that's steep.
Coffee break.
Well, do you think Rebecca's death is linked with Karen's murder, or is it just a coincidence that they were friends?
Mike, I've never been one to believe in pure coincidence.
Could Karen have been blackmailing Rebecca? Maybe with something from her past.
I've thought of that possibility. But first, we've got to find actual cause of Rebecca's death. These are the pictures, and you're not going to see them.
Who said I wanted to? That's not exactly my idea of a good time, you know.
Gee, I'm glad you told us.
Did what's-his-name get a date list for Matchmate?
Penny Coyle's name is right on the top.
Oh, yeah. All right, Gracie, you check out all the other girls, huh?
Sure. Did you call her yet?
I'm having dinner with her tonight, nosy.
Mike, take it to the Black Watchman. Oriole's on duty tonight.
Okay.
Eh bien, monsieur, mademoiselle, I trust everything was in order?
Superb, thank you.
And for the young lady, perhaps an aperitif?
No, thank you. I couldn't touch another thing.
And the food, it was satisfactory?
My, it was grand. You tell that cook I just adored everything.
Mademoiselle is most gracious.
Thank you.
Bonsoir.
Oh, wait a minute, my keys. I must have left them back at the table. Honey, why don't you wait for me in the lobby? I'll be right back, all right?
Oh, all right.
Ah, monsieur, have you forgotten something?
She says she's from Nashville.
Ridiculous. New Orleans, born there, right through high school. She got that far. I also heard a year or two of Chicago. It's worth checking.
Did you get the prints?
I'll get this to Griff within the hour.
Thank you, Mario.
Oh, such a smooth thing for such a friend as Wade Griff.
Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. I thought I was supposed to do that.
Well, I know where everything is.
You know, come to think of it, I do know some people back in Nashville. Maud and Abe Purdy used to own a drugstore down on Firestone Boulevard.
No, I'm sorry. I don't think...
You know Firestone Boulevard, the main drag south of town?
Oh, well, I know Firestone Boulevard. What I mean is, I don't think I know those folks you're talking about. What's their name? Purdy?
Well, yeah, that's too bad. That'd have given us one more thing to talk about.
If you came to talk.
Hey, look, I'm only a guest. Hostess picks the games. You forgot to spin the bottle.
Did I?
Tell me something. What does a nice girl like you need a computer for?
To find a nice boy like you. Oh, Alan, would you freshen this up for me? Yes? Yes? Oh, yes, I see. Right, I'll do that. Thank you.
I made this one light. I don't want you conking out on me.
Alan, I am afraid that I am going to have to conk out on you, darling. That phone call I just got, it was really bad news. Now, do you think you could be a sweetheart and we could make it some other night?
Well,
because I really did have the most wonderful time, and you have my phone number, right?
Yeah, of course I
have. Thank you. You're a sweet boy. Good night.
One of the girls on Mike's list is a Rita Wells. For an unemployed actress, she sure has got a fancy address.
Oh. Well, good morning, lover. You survived the night. How did it go?
I blew it.
What happened?
I don't know. I was doing fine till the phone rang, and before I could clear my throat, I was out in the street.
Do you know what was it called?
No, but when I got back to my car, I noticed somebody had gone through my glove compartment. So whoever it was probably saw my real name on the registration and called her up. All I know is she was pretty shook up about it.
Well, of course, she had every reason to be. Oriel was right. New Orleans police confirm a record of prostitution starting at age 16, and the returns aren't in yet from Chicago.
Oh, it makes two of them. Karen Lacey and Penny Coyle.
Wait a second, there may be more. I've started to check the rest of the girls on the list. 2 of them came to L.A. 2 years ago at about the same time Matchmate was getting started. One of them is a fashion model who got her job through Marietta Marlowe. The other one lives at the Crestview Apartments. And you'll never guess who pays her rent.
Look at this. It's too good to be true.
Oh, I see what you mean.
19 years old.
Fantastic.
Miss Marlowe, Bates, your receptionist told me you were having lunch out here.
Mr. Griffin, you'll have to excuse us. This is a business lunch.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll just take a moment of your time. I thought I'd tell you that the police are checking that list of special girls.
List? What special girls?
Oh, girls like Karen Lacey, Penny Coyle. The criminal code calls them prostitutes.
Hey, wait a minute. Look, I don't know anything about this list you're talking about, but if these girls lied about their background, that's certainly not Miss Marlowe's responsibility.
What is your responsibility, Miss Marlowe? Blackmail? Murder?
You'd better explain yourself.
I have some pictures here which might help explain it better.
Let me see those.
Where did you get those?
You have a very neat setup here, Miss Marlowe. Very neat. Lonely men, wealthy bachelors, wife cheaters, wealthy ones. A stable of professionals, a rendezvous, somebody with a camera, and you have the victim right where you want him. How many more men are you blackmailing?
I'm going to have to insist that you leave us alone, Mr. Griffin.
How long do you think you can keep them quiet? Penny Coyle and the others. Sooner or later, they're going to figure out what really happened to Karen Lacey.
What have you been doing?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Don't look so innocent, George. That bedroom in the photographs, that's your beach house, isn't it?
Is it?
Oh, you fool! But don't you know what you've done? It's taken us 2 years to build up this business, bringing in girls from all over the country.
And what business do you think we've really been in? Don't you know while you've been making nickels and dimes, I've been making a fortune?
Wait a minute. You killed Karen.
We did. You're in this just as much as I am. And I'll tell you something else. You and I are going to do whatever it takes, and I mean whatever it takes, to make sure Griffin and his associate remain permanently silent.
Yeah, Mike. Oh, she did, huh? Where is this beach house? I don't like it.
What was that all about?
Penny Coyle invited him to spend the weekend at a beach house up the coast.
You don't like that, do you?
No, I don't like it.
Oh, Mr. Griffin, please, I have to talk to you.
Come in, Miss Marlowe.
Thank you.
Please sit down.
Today at lunch, when you showed me those photographs, I was in a state of shock. The idea that Karen or any of my girls would...
Your girls?
Yes. Oh, you were right. I brought those girls to California. Karen, Penny, the others. I know you don't approve, Mr. Griffin, but I provide a service men have willingly paid for centuries.
I really don't want to discuss moralities. You started saying something about pictures.
Oh, as soon as I saw them, I knew where they were taken. That bedroom. It's in a beach house owned by George Bates. Hey, why don't you go in there and look at the view while I throw on some jeans?
Ready?
Make yourself to home.
Okay.
Well, I've always wanted to be in pictures.
What?
Where you hide the cameras?
Well, now, what's that supposed to mean?
It means, Penny, that Mr. Murdoch is a very observant young man.
George.
That's right. You know, you and Mr. Griffin have been very annoying. You should have let it be. You know, Karen Lacey isn't worth it.
You got a lot of problems, Bates.
No, only two, the way I see it. You and your boss. You're here, and he should be on his way.
Yeah, well, I think I can see another problem. Right, Penny?
What?
Well, don't you know when you're being set up? Oh, Georgie here's been raking it in for months now. But he had to kill Karen Lacey to protect himself. Now you're going to watch him kill me. Where do you think that leaves you, huh?
That's about enough out of you.
Why did you kill her, Bates?
Why don't you shut up?
Did you find out what you were doing? Want a little piece of the action, huh?
Well, I kept Marietta in the dark for 2 years. Why should I share the profit with Karen? She was a tramp.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to start sharing it with somebody because this is becoming the worst-kept secret in Los Angeles.
Georgie, I think I'm gonna split now, because I did what you wanted me to. I got him here.
No, you're gonna stay here.
I never expected anything like this!
Bates! All right, hold it, Murdoch. I'll take care of her later.
He tried to kill me!
Where's Bates?
He's down there! He's got a gun. He's chasing your friend.
Raise that one more inch, you're dead.
tranquilizers. No. Becky never left anything like that around here.
She was here that afternoon, though. The day she was... Well, the day she died.
Well, of course. We were discussing the screenplay together. If she'd left any pills here, I would have known it.
Was Rebecca being blackmailed by a George Bates?
Why would anyone want to blackmail her?
Oh, it was just a thought. You've been most cooperative. A screenplay by Christopher Woods. Is this the one you were talking about?
I had it photocopied myself.
Are we going to see this in the movies?
Well, now that depends. I'll be sending them out tomorrow. We'll just have to wait and see.
It's been much too long since you last published.
A fan, huh?
Yes, a big fan.
Well, in that case, here you go. The Last Ballad. Now, mind you, it is a rough draft, but I'd be very happy if you'd take it home, read it, and let me know what you think.
Well, I'm honored. I mean, I really am honored. Thank you very much, Mr. Woods.
Mr. Griffin?
You okay, mister?
Yeah, I'm okay. Who do you figure it was? Davis? Or maybe Jesse Cable? You know, according to Evelyn Gray, they both had pretty good reasons for wanting to scare us off this case. Sure you don't want to see a doctor?
No, just a bruise. And they were stealing from Rebecca.
Yeah. Not too smart about it either, so she says.
The pills. Gotta find those pills that Rebecca was taking. Jesse Cable put the pills in the limousine for her, right?
Yeah, according to Barney, yeah.
All right, then we gotta start all over from the beginning. Talk to the limo driver. Lean on him a little. And don't take I don't know for an answer.
Right. Okay, one more time. Who gave you instructions?
Jesse Cable. He ordered the limousine and told me where to take Miss Wilde.
Did you take her straight to the medical building?
Where else?
Did you find a container of pills in the back seat?
No, sir. It was empty.
Huh?
The container. I only found it the day after.
Where's it now?
In my apartment. Look, I was going to turn it in, but when I found out the girl was dead, I didn't want to get involved.
Let's go.
Huh? Now? Now.
Zenefrin. There weren't any pills in the bottle, but there were traces of Zenefrin on the cotton, according to the pathology lab.
What is Zenefrin?
It's an anticoagulant, Gracie. Sometimes used by heart patients. And in large enough doses, it can cause massive hemorrhage.
Then Rebecca Wilde was...
Of course. Somebody knew that poor girl was going to have an abortion.
Griff, maybe we better go to Barney with this.
With what? What do we have here? Nothing. Autopsy didn't show up anything. The cotton could have picked up traces of the chemical at the pharmacy where the prescription was filled. But if Jesse Cable subsequently...
Griff, this was given to her by Martha Reed. That is her name, right there on the bottle.
I know.
Zenefrin. Oh, my God. Then that explains the autopsy report. Because Xenophen's almost impossible to detect.
Martha, think back. Is it possible that you or your nurse could have given her the wrong drug? Perhaps a sample lying around.
Do you think
or
I'm
maybe
crazy?
you suggested that she take it without thinking.
Griff, I'm not a fool. In Rebecca's condition, a dose of Xenophen would have caused massive bleeding. Look, if I botched it, I wouldn't hide behind the Hippocratic Oath, and I wouldn't have you bailing me out. But an empty pill bottle with my name on it as the prescribing doctor.
But that's not evidence.
But it's a clue, isn't it? And the clue points to me. If it didn't, you wouldn't be here.
Now, you listen to me. I don't care how many clues point to you. Nothing in the world is ever going to convince me that you were responsible for that poor girl's death. End of topic?
Griff, do you think she might have taken the drug knowing what would happen?
Not suicide? No. Why have the abortion? She wanted to live. There was someone who did not want her to live. It's murder.
Hello, Griff. Bonnie. I thought you might be interested to hear what Bates and Miss Marlowe had to say about Rebecca Wilde.
Interested is putting it mildly, Barney.
Miss Marlowe claims Bates killed both Karen Lacey and Rebecca Wilde.
What does Bates say?
He confessed to the murder of Karen Lacey and to the blackmailing of Rebecca Wilde.
Did he say why he blackmailed her?
It seems Rebecca was a prostitute before she took up singing, and Karen was insisting Bates let her friend Rebecca off the hook. Plus, Karen wanted a bigger slice of their take.
And that's it?
I'd say that's enough to prove your theory that Rebecca was murdered is all cockeyed. Sorry, Griff. As I said before, as far as I'm concerned, the file on Rebecca Wilde is closed.
Sure like to agree with you, Barney, but I can't. It's not that black and white.
Griff, don't you ever know when to quit?
On rare occasions. Thanks for the information, Barney.
Good evening.
Oh, hi. How was your day at the library?
Productive.
Oh, by the way, while you were out yesterday afternoon, I had the service run off some copies of the screenplay.
Oh, I wanted to retype that before you took it in.
Doesn't matter what it looks like. The important thing is to get it out now while it's a hot item. Why don't you go ahead and get started addressing some of the envelopes, huh? Hello.
Mr. Woods, Wade Griffin.
Oh, Mr. Griffin. I was just about to call you. I understand you had quite a scare since I saw you last.
Well, where'd you hear that?
Well, there are not too many of us around up here this time of year. News spreads. What can I do for you?
Well, earlier today I asked you about Rebecca's tranquilizers, and I was wondering if you had had any time to check around for them.
Yes. Well, no, she didn't leave them here.
Oh, well, thank you very much for your trouble.
Oh, Mr. Griffin?
Yes?
Did you, well, did you get a chance to look at the screenplay?
Well, as a matter of fact, I did. I must say I liked it very much.
Oh, good, good.
If you need it back, I'll...
Oh, no, you hang on to it. Consider it a souvenir.
Well, how very kind of you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Griff, I just checked with the drug supply house. Xenophen's used in several commercial items.
For example, rat poison?
How did you know?
Mike, first thing in the morning, I'd like you to get onto the Davis estate somehow. I just remember something his gardener said to me about rats on the premises.
Four-legged kind or the two-legged kind?
Well, he's spreading rat poison. Try to get a sample.
Yeah, I dig.
Murdoch, water control. Where's your pool?
Out back. Who'd you say you were?
Murdoch. We got a report there's a sump backing up about a mile from here, and we're checking on chlorine botulism.
No kidding, huh? Sounds bad.
You know it, man. You ever seen a victim of chlorine botulism? Huh. Terrible sight, terrible. Thanks.
Charlie, who's here? A man from the city. Something wrong with the water. Oh, yeah? Where'd he go? He's going to test the pool.
don't know. I give up. Give it a hint.
Well, you smart punk.
You and your partner here are becoming a major annoyance to me. And so's this man of yours. Now, my partner here is very headstrong. He's ready to go to the police.
The police? What for?
That truck that pushed me off the road. Now, he thinks that he was behind the wheel.
Now, I'm sorry. I didn't know what was happening. That was Jesse's idea, not mine. I didn't know what was in his head. It was a stupid idea. I know it. I apologize. I'm sorry, really.
You have another problem.
What's that?
My partner believes that you were involved in Rebecca's death.
What? Me? Hey, now, wait a minute. I'm not involved. I don't want your boy going around making trouble. I mean, the idea that I'm involved, why, that could ruin what little I had left. Look, Mr. Griffin, just between you and me, I'll level with you. I can't cover the debts I've got. I'm in hock up to my neck. Rebecca's next tour was going to pull me out of the fire.
That's the saddest story I've heard all week.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means that I've read Christopher Wood's screenplay. A very thinly disguised version of the life and death of Rebecca Wilde. And I believe it. Every word of it. You are a wheeler, and a dealer, and a gouger who's not smart enough to steal honestly.
Now, take it easy, just a minute.
I have a friend in the DA's department very interested in your manipulations.
You know what that kind of talk could get you?
It can get you 20 years. Davis, you, and that goon of yours, and yes, and Christopher Woods, the bunch of you. Vultures. Rebecca Wilde died a week ago. Does that mean anything to you? Nothing. Unless, of course, there's a little bit of money to be made out of it. I'd like to find one person, just one, who had a real feeling for that girl. Oh, come on, Mike, let's get out of here. You know, Davis, you were right. He is stupid. Hate to lose my temper that way, but those two. Let me see that ivy. Oh, yeah. He clobbered you.
Well, you can't win them all.
Uh-huh. Did you find anything?
Yeah. Those cans of rat poison? You guessed it. Zenifrin.
Uh-huh. You get a sample?
Yep, in my sock.
In your sock?
Well, I had to stash it somewhere. You know, after we get that lab report back, we got Davis nailed.
No, we'll check it out, but I don't think so.
Well, come on, you're kidding me. Why?
He let us walk out of there, didn't he?
Griff, inside. When I got here this morning, I left everything just the way I found it.
Is anything missing?
I don't know. You know my files. What happened to you?
Gracie, don't ask.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Man.
We've really had a day, haven't we?
Griff, you're going to have a word with the cleaning lady. This is ridiculous.
Have a talk with somebody. What were they looking for? The screenplay.
What, Woods' screenplay?
Yeah, it's gone. They've taken it.
Well, if it was Davis, he must have flown over here because we just left him.
It wasn't Davis. They've taken with the screenplay.
Oh, no, I've got it. Well, I wanted to read it, so I took it home last night. Was that okay?
Okay. Where is it?
Well, it's in my purse.
You think that's what they were after?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll tell you one thing, it's going to make a beautiful film.
Yes, it will.
There's one thing I don't understand, though.
What's that, if I may ask?
Well, how he wrote it. Christopher Woods. I mean, it's really a beautiful script. He really understood her. And I always thought he was such a male chauvinist pig. Just goes to show you never can tell.
That's right, Gracie. You never can tell.
Why, Mr. Griffin, I didn't expect to see you for quite some time.
How are you, Mr. Woods?
What could I possibly have forgotten to tell you?
Well, those pills you take. You didn't tell me that you have a heart condition.
I only advertise my virtues.
Now, your doctor prescribed Zenifrin for you, didn't he?
I don't know, did he? Why this sudden curiosity about something that is obviously none of your business?
Rebecca Wilde died from an overdose of Xanafrin.
Get to the point, Griffin. What are you doing here?
Now, you knew that Rebecca was going to Dr. Reed for an operation. That afternoon that she was here, before she left, you substituted your medication for her tranquilizers, knowing that she was going to take them, and she did, and they killed her.
Wow. Oh, suppose I did know about her going to doctor. Why would I want to kill the woman? She was the most important thing in my life.
No, the screenplay meant everything in the world to you. But you're having a problem with it. You didn't have a good enough ending. You needed a big finish. And then you had a great idea. Suppose Rebecca were dead. I mean, really dead. The public curiosity would be overwhelming. They'd flock to the theaters. You'd have a smash hit.
You missed your calling, Griffin. You should have spent your time writing horror stories.
Well, you wrote one, Mr. Woods, but you wrote yourself into a corner. The last page of this manuscript. You know, only Rebecca's murderer could possibly have known how her death would occur.
What?
And yet, the last scene describes how she died very accurately.
Why wouldn't it? It was based on fact.
Fact before the fact, Mr. Woods. She died after this screenplay was finished.
What?
Yes. You see, this script was written on 2 different typewriters. The last pages were typed on a loaner from the repair shop while they were replacing a key in your old one. Except that the loaner was returned to the repair shop the day before Rebecca died. You didn't write this play, did you? Very disappointing, Mr. Woods. To see a Pulitzer Prize winner become a cheap phony and not a very smart one.
You're not a very smart cop either, because if you had been, you would have rolled in here with at least a dozen squad cars. That was your big mistake.
Come on now, Mr. Woods. Everybody knows that I'm here, my associate, my secretary.
I'll tell them that you came by and then left.
Call Barney?
Yeah, we have at least a case of assault with a deadly weapon here.
Is that all? What about Rebecca Wilde?
We got one more stop to make, the Westlake typewriter shop, and I hope we're not too late. Come on. All right. Come on, Woods. Up you go. Up.
Yes, this is the machine. How much do you want for it?
I'm sorry, but it's not for sale.
I must have this machine.
I'm sure you must have it, Miss Gray. We both know this typewriter is going to send you to jail, don't we? It's too bad. Really too bad the way you used Christopher Woods. A man of such great ego that he was ready to kill me. He was ready to admit killing Rebecca Wilde, just so long as no one knew that someone else had written that screenplay of his, that masterpiece. And that's the real tragedy, because you didn't need anyone. You could have done it all on your own. It's a beautiful screenplay.
Yes, I wrote it. Every word. I could have had it all. Screenplay, recognition. Even that sick, tired old man to get me to the top. Except she was in the way. He was using me to get back on top. So that he could have her. To show off. So that he could prove he was still a man.
Too bad. Shall we?
Yes.
What a waste. What a waste.
Tomorrow at 3:45, it's the action-adventure Tornado, which sees a scientist and storm chaser battle to carry out their research into predicting the natural phenomenon. And something slightly different tonight on 5 in the way of movies, that is the quirky comedy The Man Who Sued God, starring Billy Connolly and Judy Davis. That's at 9. Coming up next, 5 News.
But God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own.